Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when this finds you. Just want to talk about a little topic today on our rights. I'm not going to dwell on it long, but I just want to talk about some things and give you some things to think about. Because in God we trust, supposedly, has actually become in government we bow down. See, we're supposed to have the right to choose our own faith or no faith at all. And I mean, that's still, we still do kind of have that right. We're supposed to have a right to choose our own profession. I mean, really, so why is it that the system would only really allow blacks to be school teachers in the past? Why do counselors in black schools steer many of the black students toward military service? You know, with all of my academic credentials, my high school counselor kept placing me in ROTC every school year. And I would go back to her and I would get out of there. A lot of guys I went to school with were very smart. I mean, these guys were smarter than me. And a lot of them ended up going into the military. With all of their academic accomplishments and success, why were they not receiving an academic scholarship offers? Why don't we see more blacks as doctors? See, I wanted to be a cabinet maker when I left school. My stepdad put that down because he said I needed a degree. So in reality, our professional choice is made for us by others under the illusion that we made the choice ourselves. See, we're supposed to have a right to be able to choose our own financial condition. But how can you choose your own financial condition when a lot of other factors are in place to make sure you remain broke? How can you choose your financial condition when inflation keeps sucking your resources away? Yeah, you might have gotten a 5 or 10% raise this year, but the cost of everything you buy went up on average 22%. So you're still running 12 to 17% behind. Now, if inflation continues at that rate every year, and you keep receiving a 5 to 10% raise, you fall further behind in inflation every year. Now, don't let them lie to you and tell you that inflation is down. Look at your bank account. Look at your grocery store bill. Look at the car maintenance bill and see if inflation is down in your household. I mean, we have the right to choose our own friends. At least that's what they tell us. But everything that everybody steers us toward basically tells us what kind of friends we're going to have. How many of you have judges as friends? How many of you have politicians as friends? How many of you have doctors as friends? I mean, let's think about it. You normally have friends in the profession you choose unless you grew up with somebody and y'all remain close. So in reality, we really don't get to choose our own friends for the most part. You know, we're supposed to have a right to raise our own family. Are we supposed to have a right not to even have one if we don't want one at all? Do you really have the right to raise your own family? See, if you don't participate in the vaccination program for your child, they will label you an unfit parent and work to take your children away from you. Now, this is something many people don't know. If a woman has a baby without a father listed on a birth certificate, legally that child becomes property of the state, and the doctor who delivers the baby knows this beforehand. The mother is nothing more than a babysitter for the state's asset. Why do I call it an asset? Well, if you look at your name on every government document, it's in all caps. That's because you've become a business entity. You are not a human being in this system. You are listed as a state asset in all caps on the stock exchange at birth. Upon your death, there's a payout of about $2 million, but that money doesn't go to your family. And see, because you were born in your mother's womb, it's considered a water birth. And by it being a water birth, legally you are born into what is called maritime law. it's your family in name only, but it's a government asset. You, as a person, are not considered a person. You are considered a government asset. You know, we're supposed to have the right to privacy and not to be spied on by anyone. Do we even need to discuss this? You know, even the things you think are secure aren't. The CIA already broke into the Tor browser. Tor is supposed to be the most secure browser out there. You know, Telegram and WhatsApp, you know, may have secure encryption in the end. And so apparently the communication is still private, but your phone number is linked to a contact list. WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. All of your internet traffic is logged. Why is all of your internet traffic logged? But the government keeps all of this stuff classified. See, we're supposed to have a right to be secure in our belongings. You know, how can we say this? You know, if someone breaks into your house and you shoot them, why do you have to go through all these legal hoops to prove your innocence? And if you're found innocent, then a suspect's family will turn around and sue you in civil court for killing their loved one for breaking in, violating you. Just the other night, a guy ran into a man at the gas station here in this city, in Houston, and he pistol whipped the dude that was putting gas in his car and stole his wallet. There was another guy at the gas station who was in his car as well when the act took place, and he got out of his car and shot the perp. The perp died. The guy who shot the perp then went and checked on the victim. And afterwards, one lady said, well, he didn't have to kill him. You know, I saw a legal analyst speak on the issue, and he said, well, he did a public good because he stopped the guy from ever pistol whipping anyone else. Just last night, right before I went to bed, I was scanning YouTube, what they call a suburb of Houston. Guy drives home from work, and two young men, you see two young men running up to his truck, and they unload 5 bullets into his car. And fortunately, he didn't get hit by any of the bullets, but it's the shattered glass in his truck, you know, shattered into his arm, and he went to the hospital, and he had glass shards that went all over his arm. And we got a mixed up society. You know, criminals get away with everything, but you have to prove your innocence. Law-abiding citizens don't break the law, but law-abiding citizens are the ones that have to prove their innocence. You know, we're supposed to have the rights to enjoy the fruits of our own labor. You know, what's the real tax rate on your wages? Wages were never supposed to be taxed according to the law in this country. Right today, wages are still not supposed to be taxed. If you work a job, you are a wage earner, not an income earner. Income was the only thing that was supposed to be taxed. And you know, speaking of the right to enjoy the fruits of your own labor, what do these jackleg pastors in these pulpits keep teaching every Sunday? Tithe. We're going to take a tithe. We're going to take a tithe. And I done told you that the Bible says in the New Testament, since a lot of y'all don't like the Old Testament, the New Testament said the former husbandman should be the first partaker of his own labor. But when you're a wage earner, the government takes your money first, and then these jackleg preachers tell you pay them first. You know, we're supposed to have the right to vote for the public servants of our choice. You know, notice the word public servant. You know, when did it actually become politician? Do you know what the word politician means? It means someone who promotes the interest of the party. So that means they are not working on your behalf, no matter how much lip service they pay to you. So regardless of which side you vote for, they are not working on your behalf. They're working on behalf of the party. Notice I didn't say they were working on behalf of the party platform. Democrats be like, you know, we are the party for the people. Democrats also be like, if you want to kill your baby, that's okay with us. Republicans, used to only stand on two things, abortion and the Second Amendment. Now that Roe versus Wade has been overturned, they only have one leg to stand on. They are supposed to be public servants. That means they are supposed to serve the public, not themselves. See, servant means on duty of service to a master or a lord. One employed by another and subject to his order. That means we, the people, are the masters of the government public servants. It's not supposed to be the other way around. They ain't even supposed to be paid no salary. They supposed to be given a stipend. See, we're supposed to have the right to make our own health choices. Do I even need to mention the last 3 years? Do we need to mention that when Obamacare was passed, the very government said if you don't do what we tell you to do, we will charge you a fine for not doing what we said? This same government says if you don't want to do what we tell you to do with your body, we will exclude you from society unless you want to murder your baby. Excuse me. We're supposed to, according to Thomas Jefferson, the slaveholder himself, we're supposed to have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We're living, but do we have a life with all of these control mechanisms in place? Do we have any liberty left at all? With everything going on, are people really happy? That's why you got to get caught up in sports, in celebrity garbage. You're trying to live happiness through somebody who's putting on a show for you, who are miserable themselves. So we're supposed to have a right to equal justice under the law. Is justice truly equal? One day in the future, I might talk about some of the prison sentences of these paddles. I'm gonna call them paddles. Maybe, I don't know if y'all will. Well, she's an adult now, but a teenage girl went to prison. Well, she's still in prison, but she went to prison as a teenager because she got kidnapped by a predator. He kept her for a long time. She eventually got herself loose. He was raping her on a daily basis. She got loose. She killed him, and she got sent to prison for killing him. Woman in California the other day just got sentenced to 100 hours of community service. She went out on a date with a guy. They went to his place afterwards. They were both hitting the bone, got high, and she killed him. She stabbed him over 100 times. She received 100 hours of community service because a psychiatrist said she was too high to realize what she was doing. Do I need to tell you the color of the teen girl in prison and a grown woman with community service? Why do whites get shorter prison sentences for their crimes, but blacks get 20 sentences that are at least 20% longer? We're supposed to have a right to free speech, redress of grievances, and keeping bare arms. Do we really have free speech? Every day. Every day Democrats are trying to pass more legislation to take your right to defend yourself away from you. Yet they keep armed guards and they are only gun controlling you. So, do we really have any rights? I could go on and on, but I just wanted to put those out there and just ask a few questions. I'll talk to you later.